said, the book has 26 chapters, and each of the chapters has what I call quotes. I use quotes because I love quotes, and it takes us to the body of the message of each one. I start with the first chapter, in the beginning, family. That actually tells us about what God actually wanted in the family union. He wanted us to be able to build, to be able to expand, to be able to add value to the world and to society at large. And I start with this quote of the book. It says, if one can feed and ensure that the moral and value composition of a family unit is sustained, it can be assured that there will be a ripple effect that will make the society better. This was a quote said by Shehu Shomolu, my husband. He was just talking that day. I normally have a pen and paper around me anytime I'm going anywhere. So I usually write things down. And I'll start with a story. Some time ago, there was a story I heard about a man that had raised 2 children, a set of twins. The man was an alcoholic, and it affected his marriage, it affected his business, it affected his children. And everything just went haywire in his life. So these young boys, the set of twins, they became adults. And somewhere along the line, they had the therapist talk to them about their childhood experiences. And one of the twins said to the therapist, my father had an addiction with alcohol, and it affected our home. And now I'm an alcoholic, and that's what I've just seen all over my life through my childhood years. And I became an alcoholic, and it has affected me. The second twin said, my father was an alcoholic, and because of that, I chose not to touch the bottle. I chose to make sure that it did not affect my growing up, it did not affect my life. So what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say that whatever experiences we've had in the past, it doesn't determine our future. We have to take personal responsibilities on the outcomes of our life and what we choose to do with our lives. So yes, our childhood experiences may affect us, but it doesn't determine where we're going. So I don't know if anybody has gone through any experiences, because in life, there's no ideal family. Everybody has some kind of dysfunction in their home somehow, but we all have to find ways to make sure that we work at it and determine what we want in that aspect. So I go straight to chapter 2, which says, embracing the blessing and conquering the brokenness. The quote says, family is a mix of joy and pain, of loyalty and betrayal, of intimacy and estrangement. And at the end, it should be a story of deep reconciliation and rich renewal. David Paulson. In all seasons of our life, our family is supposed to be a circle of strength, but not most times. We fight each other. We just behave as if we have a long time to spend time with one another. We have to remember that anything can happen at any time. So the people that are close to us are the people we need to make sacrifices for. I go straight also to the third chapter, which says, identify your role and play your part. It says, the quote says, you won't find the lights at the end of the tunnel. You'll find you were carrying it all along. You are the light. Everybody is an integral part of the family. I say that the father is the CEO of the family, the mother is the MD, and the children the employer. So everybody has a role to play in each family, and everybody needs to be part of a common goal. What are your family visions? What are the family missions? Every organization has missions and visions. Here I'm talking about what each one has to offer. Miles Monroe said, a father is the president of his organization or his family. The mother is the vice president, and the children are board members of the family. So everybody must be heard. Everybody must be listened to. Everybody has something to offer. It's not a place that I am the Lord and Master of this organization or this family. I read a quote there. My mom of blessed memory made us realize that our differences make us unique, and our varying characteristics and qualities were used to the advantage of the family. We were an indivisible unit with strong family values. She always reminded us that the blessing of one is the blessing of all. and that wealth is only valuable when it is used to bring those around you along the road to prosperity without making a fuss about it. What is your role in your family? How do you engage your children, your spouse in your family? The blessing of one is the blessing of the other, of all. When one sings, the other sing. So we need to be very careful about that. I'll go to chapter 4, says the circle of strength. In order to live a fulfilled life, do not force on the size of your audience. Focus instead on leaving an impact on the circle of influence God has given to you. Our families should always be the first circle of influence. Those people we can reach out to. Those people that would always be there when we're low, when we're down. At a point in that time in our life, we will be tried and tested. And it is the people we surround ourselves with that would either drown us or lift us. This is very important because all of us know that everything around us now is just, we don't understand what is happening. The Dalai Lama says, open your arms to change, but don't let go of your values. We've let go of our values in this part of the world and all over the world. You know, the people we relate with would be no doubt, if we are aware, that we have core values. Roy Disney once said, it is not hard to make decisions if you know what your values are. What are your values in your family? Is it honesty? Is it integrity? Is it compassion? You have to have a code of conduct. In this chapter, it talks about the code of conduct in family. What is your what is it that it is what everybody in your family thrives on? What are you known for in your family? Everybody in that family must be able to say, this is what we're known for. Each of us will know that we have to be in a place of unity wherever we are. I say to myself, as a Nigerian Baba, an African by origin, and a citizen of the world, I carry my roots everywhere I go because it keeps me grounded and it gives me a solid foundation to fall on. Here I talk about the fact that in our own part of the world, we act as if we don't adhere to rules. But when we go anywhere outside our world, we adhere to rules. So wherever we are, our values must not change. Whether we're in Japan, we're in Singapore, we're in England, whatever we stand for should be what carries us along. We go to the two imperfect people trying to make things work. That's chapter 6. That's about marriage. Marriage is it's a mystery that, like I wrote here, can two work together unless they have agreed? Marriage is not for the small-minded, but for the matured mind. An old man once said, choose your life mate carefully. From this one decision will come 90% of all your happiness and misery. I think in Nigeria and Africa, we should stop asking our children in the marriageable age and asking them, when are you getting married? I think the most important is, who are you? Do you know yourself? Have you found your identity? Because marriage, many of us rush into it, and it's not a joke. It's not for the matured, it's not for the immature mind. Even the matured, they have struggles. So many marriages have caused so much pain. So at this time, as we're moving forward, like every living thing, marriage needs sowing, watering, pruning, tending, and patience. How patient can we be? So going forward, how do we adapt to each other? A man is absolutely different from a woman. A woman is absolutely different from a man, but we all have things that are bringing into the marriage. We all have to agree on how we want to move forward. How many children do we want? Where part of town do we live? Do we want to live? I mean, so many things that we need to speak before we get married. So that's what that chapter talks about. I remember an understanding between the husband and the father. The marriage, yes, the man is the head of the home and the woman is there to maintain the home. But everybody has to have a voice. There should be a unified front in a marriage. During a vacation with my brother, I could not have felt more proud of him after watching him take care, feed, bathe, change diapers, and scold, as well as give time out to 3 of his daughters, all under 6, while his wife went on a out-of-state wedding. That's a man. And I remember that we're all celebrating Mrs. Okonjo-Iweala. Okonjo-Iweala can only be celebrated because of the man that is her husband that allowed her to fly. He didn't feel less of a human being because his wife was flying. There must have been an agreement. There must have been an understanding. Allow your wife to fly. Allow your husband to also be the best version of himself. There has to be a unified front. And once that happens, we have stability in the home for the children. The chapter 7 goes on to talk about life. The COVID showed us so many things about life and focusing on the important thing. Chapter 7 says, find time to pause. It says, the quote is by Oprah Winfrey. It says, living in the moment brings you a sense of relevance for all of life's blessings. Do you find time to pause? Do you find time to actually relax? Do you find time to actually engage and see what is around you and reflect on your past, your present, and your future? Whatever situation we find ourselves in, we ought to take time to evaluate the present position in the scheme of our lives. We must find time to pause. We must find time to rest. We must find time to reflect on the things around us, to communicate, to connect with our children, our parents, our husbands, everybody of influence around us. We all must get to be able to go to a place where we can reflect and review to readjust for the future. And if need be, retreat for a reason, for a season. When was the last time you took a break? When was the last time you actually had space, not to touch your phone and things like that? These are things that also will make you have time for your family and reflect on so many things. We do not stop playing because we grow old. We grow old because we stop playing. When was the last time you played? When was the last time you laughed? When was the last time you went to the beach or watched a movie with on your own or with your family? Those are the things that keeps us refreshed in the home and outside the home. The COVID has taught us so many things. During this COVID, it was obvious that the family was very important. Why? During the wedding ceremony or death or funerals, it was only a number of people that had to be there, just a few people. And who were those people? Family. So we must not hurt the people that we love. Even if we do hurt, we must leave space for forgiveness, reconciliation. One of the greatest securities parents can give their children is their love for each other. When was the last time you said I love you to your wife, or you said I love you to your husband? When was the last time you hugged your children and look into their eyes and say, I'm proud of you? We miss out on all those kind of things, but we must find time to do that. These are important moments that we cannot take for granted. And there's a place also that talks about understanding personality types. What kind of personality are you? Who are you? Are you choleric? Are you phlegmatic? That's in chapter 12. Find out what personality you have so that you can understand yourself better and help yourself, and also understand the members of your family. Where are the good men? All that is necessary for the triumph of evil is that good men do nothing. There are so many incidences, there are so many organizations that talk about women helping out in this and that and that. But where are the men? Where are the men that we need to come out of their offices, roll up their sleeves, and do what is right in our society? Where are the men that they can talk about rape and give consequences for rape? Where are the men that can restructure our organizations and our country? Many women are doing a lot. Where are the men that can come together as a group to fight for their family, fight for their homes, fight for their children? We are not seeing men come together as groups. We need men. We don't want them to just run organizations. We want them to run homes. We want them to be able to stand and come together as a team to do things, to engage young boys, young girls, to be able to help them through life, to coach them, to mentor them. We need men that can stand up and do things that are right and speak the truth. I am not raising boys. I'm raising loving husbands, devoted fathers, and men who fear God. Over the last couple of years, there has been a strong advocacy for the girl child. A lot of emphasis is being placed on her education, acquisition of skills, and all that. Individuals, corporations, and government institutions and international organizations have all come to the realization of the important role of the woman. But what about boys? Who is raising our boys? Women do not have 100% capacity to raise their their sons. We need men. Men are becoming absentee fathers, just providing. There's a situation here that I wrote about when a woman asked her husband to be part of the growing up, the upbringing of his children. And he said no, that his father was not involved in the upbringing of his own upbringing. So why should he be involved? That his role is to provide. That should not happen anymore. The world is calling our children. So many things are happening to them. So we want men that will raise their boys. Even when there's a single mother, there has to be a father figure that is helping you raise your son. We need men. Men are becoming complacent. The women have gone far ahead. They're leaving the boys behind. We want men that will raise boys. We want our boys to know that when a girl says no, it is no. That no doesn't mean yes. We want them to change their notion of taking advantage of women and just doing anything they want to do. We want them that even if a woman is leading, it doesn't make them less of a human being. That we need to cohabit. A man needs a woman needs a man. I have 3 girls, and I know one day they will employ men, they'll get married to men. So no woman should be in isolation, no boy should be in isolation. So we need people that will engage our boys. They're becoming very complacent. They're becoming very lazy. They're becoming very not having the drive and learning skills, not the fast track. We need to raise our boys, and we need men and women that will come together to raise our boys. And in 17, let them fly. It talks about there are only 2 lasting bequests we can hope to give our children. One of them is roots and the other one wings. This is about allowing our children to fly. Many of our children, they feel stifled because their parents are now allowing them to do what they know they want to do. Please, our generation, the way we have brought up our children is different from the way we were brought up. The world that we were brought up is different from the world our children are brought up. So we have to allow our children to be expressive. We have to let them hear. We have to listen to our children, hear their voice. We have to know what they want to do and be able to encourage them. Every child is different. For the child that knows, support that child. Every child is an individual. They have a spirit, a soul, and they're in a body. So your child might be the gift in your home that will take you to another level in that family. So allow your children to be able to express themselves. I put a quote here: every child is different. For the child that knows, support, give them the enabling environment. For the child that is unsure, guide, direct. For the child that is clueless, push. And we must remember that we're not only the ones that have the capacity to bring up our children. There are people that we need to allow into their lives, mentors and guardians also. And we must let our children know about our experiences, the mistakes we've made, the things we've done right, and the things we haven't done right, so that they will know that we don't have it all. We don't have all the answers. It's very important we do that. Another one I wanted to talk about is the one about the parenting. And I'll continue to use Mrs. Okunje-Iweala. Yes, we're celebrating her, but her parents gave her an enabling environment. Her husband was there to support her, and her grandmother was there to take care of her while her parents were studying abroad. And her children also must not have caused her pain during that process. I'm sure they had some dark moments in their family, like any other family. But the support system, the support that we give each other is very crucial in moving forward and knowing that one person's pain will cause pain for everybody. One person's triumph will cause triumph for everybody. We must remember that. And as I round up on this, I will talk about the last but not the least on this. Let's go. It talks about if you are holding on to forgiveness against yourself or others, you will miss the joy God wants you to have. Let it go. Now, if you're holding on hurt, please remember that life is short. Anything can happen at any time. Let go of the hurt. Let go of the things that you're holding on to, the grudges. It is very difficult to forgive and almost impossible to forget. But if we do try, we'll be amazed at the freedom we'll experience and the light of joy it will radiate. No matter how promising and successful our life is, if we have unresolved family matters, they will always find a way to loom over us at every point in time. Reunite with your family members. One day, your imaginary conflict will all come to an end, with or without you. Don't wait until it's too late. That is what I will end with now, because it's very important that the family institution plays a very important role in giving stability to the society. It is a major and basic social institution from which other social institutions have grown and developed. Our goal should be towards cultivating strong, loving families and that provide unconditional love. There are blended families now. Kamala Harris has a blended family. So it's not just immediate family, it's extended family, blended families, just and the people that you know that are in your space, that you know that they mean a lot to you and you want to be part of them. In the epilogue, please I will read the epilogue to you now. When a birth occurs, family members are usually present or are the first to be informed. And when a death occurs, the same thing happens. However, what we need to do during the period between life and death is to make each day count and create beautiful memories. Take a decision now to rewrite your family story. That is the end of my review. But I remember that I wanted to say something about children. It talks about parents wonder why streams are bitter and why they themselves are poisoned, not remembering that they themselves are poisoning the fountain. So For the Love of Family is a good read. It's easy, very, very legible. The lettering are very clear and very easy to read. And it also is a comprised knowledge in just a book that will help us to move forward. So please buy the book, and you can get it in the 36 states in Nigeria and the FCT from Laterna bookshop. They deliver everywhere. And also, if you're outside the country, you can get it on Amazon. Thank you very much for this opportunity.